We obviously have the enormity that is the SEC championship game this weekend. Alabama, Georgia, and remember, the last time these teams played each other, national championship game, and it was Tua. This was the coming out party for a young man who will likely win the Heisman Trophy this year. You remember all the action that he had in overtime, leading this team to a remarkable win with Jalen Hurts. They bench him, they put in Tua. He was spectacular in the overtime. Alabama down 23-20, and it's Tua doing Tua things. Now they're familiar, but at the time this was happening, we had no idea. He gets sacked. Nick Saban couldn't believe it. 2nd and 26. Alabama's going to lose the championship game to Georgia, right? Well, think again. Tua does this, and his name goes down in history forever. Alabama wins 26-23, and it just continues to roll on.
Stay third, boy. God.
The defensive players can't believe what they're seeing. You know, and Alabama's been in a league of their own this season. They've won 23 straight against SEC East teams. Their last loss came in 2010 against South Carolina. They've outscored their opponents by 28 points a game in that span. Nick Saban has the upper hand against his former assistants as well. These are all reasons why one would expect that Alabama's going to roll here. They've rolled through their former assistants. They always beat those guys. And so we're trying to come up with ways.
Now, who the hell was responsible for Tua breaking that run against LSU?
Now, we all know, I have no idea. That upsets you, but you're an LSU guy, so you want to figure out a way Alabama may lose.
Yes.
Maria is from Georgia, so there's no question you want to see this happen. So I want you each to give me 2 reasons that Georgia has a shot to beat Alabama.
The number one reason, MT, and I think we all know, if you follow any college football, Georgia has to be able to run the football.
Yes.
And number one reason is because it takes possessions away from Tua, right? When we just like we're talking about the Saints and Cowboys coming up, this is how you control the clock against Alabama, especially in a non. It's a weird year because Alabama is averaging 40 points a game, which is not normal. So in order to keep it out of their hands, you got to be able to run the football, and that's what Georgia does best.
So that's number one. What's number 2?
Number 2, Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm has to make throws that are dynamic. These windows are going to be tight. He's playing against future first-round draft picks in this secondary for Alabama, so it's going to take a professional performance from the quarterback spot to get a W. All of the games that we've seen Alabama lose, they've lost to quarterbacks that are now in the pros doing very well.
Right.
So he's going to have one of those performances in order to get a beat. That is the blueprint.
This is obviously a very different Alabama team, though, a team that counts on scoring. They'll get 100%. You in a shootout as well. Give me 2 more, Maria.
You're so right, because we watched the SEC Championship highlights, and it was a 26-23 game. Ain't happening. There's no way you're keeping Tua and Mike Locksley under that. So you better be able to score in the red zone, which is something that Georgia has struggled with this season. You're taking a look here at the Florida game. Marcus, they had 6 tries.
Oh, boy.
At this goal line stands. I think they had 4 handoffs, 2 quarterback sneaks, 0 points. Rodrigo had to come on, kick a field goal. And right now they're 4 for 15 in the red zone. So they're struggling to convert. I wonder if we'll see some more creative plays from Jim Chaney. But now's the chance to empty it all out. Just throw it all out there on the floor. And then Tua, find a way to pressure him. I'm not saying sack him, because Alabama's only allowed 11 sacks this season. But you have to find a way to lower his QBR. And the only way that we've seen, shout out to Himbo, is 35% lower when he's actually pressured. So whether or not Georgia can generate a little
bit of something. Can they do that, Marcus?
Where would it come from? If you were Kirby Smart, where would you bring the pressure from?
First, here's the problem. You have to play man-to-man in order to pressure him. And that's what he's been best against. And the difficult part about Alabama now that a lot of people hadn't talked about, Irv Smith Jr., the tight end, is a matchup nightmare when you are trying to pressure to it. He's the most blitz quarterback in the SEC, and he's had the most success in the highest QB rating.
But he's nearly perfect if you don't.
No question.
So we'll see.
Pick
Obviously, it's a tall task, but, you know, it's not impossible by any means.